Hi there, it's whiskey story time again. It's up there somewhere. And today we're going to talk about Jura. So I think, at some point, pretty much every whiskey drinker has tried Jura, whether you like it or you don't like it. But I think it's one of those almost ubiquitous whiskies. You see it's younger expressions, often in supermarkets in the UK, certainly. You'll see its older expressions in whiskey shops. They've been all over the place. Famous for completely reinventing their brand a number of years ago when they were forced to buy a new portfolio of casks, and that would dramatically change the whiskey. But let's dig into the history a little bit. So Jura, as an island, if you've ever been to that part of the world, Jura and Islay sit next to each other. Islay, 3,000 people, big bustling island, lots of lovely fertile land. Jura, lots of mountains. Around about 200, slightly over 200 people live on Jura. So it's very much a much smaller proposition. In 1810, a guy called Archibald Campbell built what he called the Small Isles Distillery at Craighouse on Jura. Okay. In 1831, it was licensed to sell whiskey, so it's all going good. But unfortunately, in 1901, which was a bad time for the whiskey industry across the whole piece, really, it was forced to close, and the equipment was stripped from the distillery. So there was no means of distillation at that point. In the 1960s, in 1963, two local landowners, Robin Fletcher and Tolly Riley Smith, stepped in to rebuild and re-equip Jura, which they did with new stills which were very tall, which gives you a very light or non-oily spirit, which is quite characteristic for an Islay. They released their first single malt, or whiskey as a single malt, in 1974, and really since 1993 they've been part of the whole White and Mackay group. As I said, these hugely tall stills which gives you a light spirit, but unlike its neighbours from Islay next door, which is the home of these big peaty monsters, these big robust peaty monsters, Islay, or Jura whiskey, sorry, I should say, tends to be quite light and quite lightly peated, almost just a hint of smoke, as opposed to something that's like licking a burnt stick from Ardbeg, which I love, by the way. So there we go. That's Jura. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.